I'm going to show you an easy way to switch a floater diver plug into a suspending or even a sinking plug. It's non-permanent, it's cheap, and it's easy to do. So how are we making that happen? How are we changing a lure to go from a floating lure into a suspending or a sinking lure? Now, this is a trick that's been around in the past world for a long time. Something that they've been doing with crankbaits to get them to dive a little deeper, jerk baits to get them to suspend or maybe sink, just like we're trying to do here. And that is by using these little suspend strips. These are made by Storm. They make these the strip style, which is for your larger baits, your baits that have more buoyancy, or they make it in a dot style, which is just a little round one. Those are made for lures that don't weigh as much, or you don't need as much adjustment to accomplish what you're trying to do. But because these are floating lures, I needed the bigger lead to get them to do what I wanted to. So let me show you how this works. So all they are is little lead strips that have an adhesive back on it. So you can use as many as these that you want, or as little as you want. You can even cut them in half. But basically, once you pull them off, again, they've got an adhesive back on there, and you can place them on the lure wherever you need them to go. Now, on this particular lure, I found this is our skinny lipper, the original size. We've got a junior, we've got an XL, and then we've got the original size. I found that using 4 of them is what I needed to get the lure down in salt water. So salt water is more buoyant than fresh water, so it needed a little bit extra weight. But all I had to do was put 2 on the top, 2 on the bottom, and it got the sink rate that I was looking for. Now, one thing that will change is where you put this, and that's a little trial and error that you got to do. Some lures you're going to need to put the weight behind the hook, some up here on the back. But on this particular lure, it needed to be in front of the hook all the way towards the front. And I kept adding it and moving it around to get the behavior that I want. And each bait's going to be a little bit different. Even you could take the same exact style of bait, and because the way that it's weighted internally, you might need to move it around. So what I'll do to fine tune these, you can take one of these little rectangles off, and you can just peel back a little bit of that backer and just fold it like that, stick it on the lure, and then put it in the water and see how it behaves. And you can move it around, and then once you get it to the way that you want it to act, then you can pull that whole strip off there and then stick it on. And they stay pretty good. I haven't had one fall off yet. Maybe after a while of fighting a fish that they might scrape it off, but these things are so cheap and they're so easy to replace. And once you get them in place the way that you want them, all you have to do is just put them exactly back the way that you had it, and you're good to go for the next time. So why does this matter? Why would I change the way that this lure behaves and add all this to it? Well, it really depends on the mood of the fish, and it's going to vary what type of lure and where in that water column these fish are going to be at. So typically, as a guideline, this is a starting point. If the fish are feeding aggressively, then you're going to want something that floats at rest or rises at rest. So you can work that lure down, get it down in that water column, and then when you pause it, it starts rising. This is often a better presentation for aggressively feeding fish. However, when these fish get into a negative or a neutral mood and they're not chasing things down, you're going to need something that's going to stay down lower in that water column, or maybe even go to the bottom of the water column. You don't need something that's going to pop up to the surface. So whenever that water temperature starts warming up, they're going to move down to the bottom. So you need something that is going to be down there right in their face. In the cooler times of the year, in the morning time, the warmer water is actually going to be deeper. So you're going to need something that's going to get down to them. And if that profile is working for you, adding these weights to it can actually get it down there a little bit deeper and get it to where these fish are going to be at. So they're not going to be at the surface, they're going to be down below. Now you're going to be able to get to them. So what I've been doing is I'll have 2 of the exact same lure. So I'm going to have the floater diver, and I'm going to use that whenever these fish are feeding aggressively, and then take that same exact lure if I'm having success with that profile, and then I've got the one that's weighted that's going to get down in that water column. So whenever they shut down a little bit, they get neutral and negative, then I can fish it a little bit slower and keep it down in front of their face. Now, this is not just for floater divers. This actually works for suspending lures. Say you got a suspending lure that is somewhere, around that 18-inch range, right around there, but you need to get a little bit further, put a little bit of that weight on there. Now you've got a lure that's going to sink, and the longer you wait, the deeper that lure is going to go. And that's another way to get down to these fish where they are. So you can do this with suspending lures, you can do it with floating lures. It works on just about any style of hard bait. So I'd love to hear from you, especially the bass guys that's been doing this for a long time. Have you tried this inshore? Have you used this on your redfish, your snook, your trout, your flounder? Because I'll tell you what, it's helped me, especially this past summer, to extend that bite a little bit further, catch some extra fish in the day. But I'd love to hear from you. Put them down in the comments below if you've tried this. And if you are new to inshore and you haven't haven't tried them yet, hard baits work really good on our targeted species out there. A lot of people use them in freshwater, but not too many people are throwing them in saltwater. A lot of people are throwing your soft plastic shrimps, your paddle tails, and they work great. But when you throw them something that they're not used to seeing, there's just something magical about them. These things work really, really good. If you are looking to try them, this one here happens to be the Skinny Lipper. It's available at fishstrong.com. We have them in several different colors. This happens to be the Mullet HD pattern, which is one of our more popular sellers. If you are an insider, you get huge discounts off a tackle at fishstrong.com, so make sure and check that out. As always, I really do appreciate you watching the video, and I hope this helps you out. If you do have any questions, let me know down in the comments below, and I hope your next trip out on the water is a great one. Bye.